Right, let's get into the paper review now to get to know what stories are making headlines across the country today.
And there are quite a number of them on the pages of Nigerian newspapers. Let's begin with the Punch this morning. But of course, social commentator Adio is with us. We'll be looking at these headlines and try to make sense of them with us this morning. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me as always.
All right, the Punch states consumers groan in Lagos, Abuja as fuel scarcity worsens. Senators to inspect filling stations summon NNPC boss Mekanti Baro. Of course, we hear he has run back to the country, following this development. What do you think about this? Always at this time of the year, that's what people are wondering.
Oh, yes. We thought that we're going to escape this year's usual suspect of long queues at the filling stations in December because of the assurances that the NNPC boss had given that they had more than enough in their reserves.
Yes.
But of course, to be fair to the complaints, the IPMAN chairman has categorically stated that there's enough fuel. And, of course, the NNPC have also said there are no, they're not increasing the prices of fuel. The problem is the gridlock in Apapa and, tanker drivers finding it difficult to navigate. And I mean, if you apply the Eco Bridge every now and then, or you apply through the Korodu Road, you'll see the menace that these tankers have been causing in Lagos for the past 6-7 weeks. And, like we always say, dealing with those tankers is like you're being between a rock and a hard place. Yeah. Are you forceful with them and sacrifice the fact that these tankers are the one who's going to supply you fuel around the country and what have you? So it's a really tough decision to make because the gridlock is really...
a lot of courage for any...
A whole lot of courage because they supply the entire country.
The Apapa gridlock, we keep talking about this for a long time and people expect government to be very drastic with handling that issue. Even though it's a complex one, like you say, but government is the one who can do it after all.
Yeah, but here's the funny question. You want to ask yourself that a country in the 21st century, a tanker who's going to lift fuel from Maiduguri has to come all the way through the same road down to Lagos to lift fuel back to Maiduguri. Same as Sokoto, same as Katsina, same as Kano. What 21st century country runs a country like that? Everybody's headed in just one particular direction.
That's why the roads are the way they are.
Exactly.
And you expect
so much
the petrol dealer or seller in Maiduguri, for example, to sell at the same price that you would get in Lagos.
And when these tankers come, there's no guarantee that, okay, fine, you come from Maiduguri, you're supposed to get fuel in about 2 days. Sometimes it's not a guarantee you get it in 2 days.
That's what the marketers are saying. It takes about a week.
To
get the fuel, another week to get out.
And remember that the Apapa roads are in a state of comatose. It's a terrible state. And so, it's difficult for these trailers to also navigate these roads.
On the other hand, they also blame some of this, the so-called scarcity on panic buying. The people, the moment they hear any rumors or speculation, everyone is rushing to feel all the...
I really don't think it's about panic buying because I also tried to get fuel yesterday and the day before.
Did you have to queue?
I had to queue. I had to be there for over an hour. Even when I had to get fuel for my generator, the queue for the jerry cans, is even longer than that of the trailers on Apapa Green.
It's a really sad development. Of course, the IPMAN is accusing NNPC of under-supplying them. So many issues here. All right, moving on. 2019 help PDP return to Aso Rock. McCarthy urges Atiku. Of course, he's directing this to other PDP members too. But didn't we hear that McCarthy has his eyes on 2019 too?
Well, from the papers, from the reports we got few days, I think about exactly 2 days ago, he was saying, well, I have the right to. The moment I hand over to, then there's a convention, I am a possible candidate.
Yeah, of course he has the right to.
Does Atiku hold the key for the PDP?
Well, that's a different kettle of fish entirely. I do not think he holds the key. I do think he's a big fish. I do think he brings a lot to the table. I think he's bringing a lot of political sagacity and experience to the table. But whether he's going to be the de facto candidate for the PDP, I really am not sure because there are other people who are just for the position.
Again, thieves burgle again. Underline that word. Again. It's not the first time. Again, thieves burgle Benue government house. Steal valuables, including refrigerators
and television
sets.
In government house? Wow.
It's ludicrous. I tell you. How safe are you in Nigeria? Let
Exactly.
me ask you the fundamental question.
That's a good question.
How safe
If
are
government house is not safe.
Exactly.
And if armed robbers, wherever they sit to, you know, take their decision, actually have the effrontery, actually have the guts to say, look, our target is government house.
You can imagine
Something
the
is wrong
audacity.
somewhere.
It tells you the state of our internal security.
Yeah.
And
it tells you
if
the
they're
state of
able
it.
to go in and steal things like fridges
Heavy,
and television,
we're talking about
then
heavy stuff here.
okay, let's move on to the Nation newspaper. PDP governors plan unity lists to stop IBB and Jonathan. And notes delegate split over Secondus and Adeniro. Articles camp G3. Now, with this now, one is going to say, has PDP really learned its lessons when it comes to trying to shut some people out and for others to, they've used the word hijacking the party and all of that?
Well, it's not a matter of PDP. I think it's the typical state of the Nigerian politician. We like the imposition thing. We like to cut corners. We like favorism. We want to crown, you know, the so-called jewel at the end of the day. But I expect that the PDP have learned their lessons and will do due diligence and ensure that the best candidate emerges. Of course, I understand that, you know, sometimes in political parties, the fact that you're popular within the party does not necessarily mean that you're popular outside the party.
Exactly.
True.
So
Very
chances
true.
are that you could win a primary easily and lose in a general election.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
one more headline here says Nigeria's population now 193 million naira. That's, million people. There's so much money in my head. Nigeria's population now 193 million people, says NBS. That's the National Bureau of Statistics.
Now that's frightening, and I tell you why. It's frightening because we are growing faster than we can feed our people. We have little infrastructure ready for the people that we're giving birth to. In fact, there's this NGO, the World Poverty Check, that predicted that by February 2018, Nigeria will have more poor people than India. Now let that sink in for a minute. I mean, Indians, the population of India is about a billion and something plus people, and we just 190 million people.
What they're saying is more than 50% of Nigerians would be
poor.
Below
So
the bread
because
line.
we have not planned enough.
This day, external reserves hit 4-year high of $38.2 billion on the back of Eurobond issue. Now, this amount, side by side to the population figure, how much difference would it make?
Exactly.
I tell you,
there's nothing to cheer about, really.
The Norwegians have over $1 trillion, you know, in their reserves. Over $1 trillion resident in their reserve. So compare that to what we have.
And Saudi Arabia has well over $500 billion.
And what's the population of Norway?
What's the population of Norway?
Okay, Buhari, Saraki, Dogara meet to fast-track passage of 2018 budget. And we're here in spite of whatever mistakes the executive may have made in the budget. They just want to, you know, get this done and done very quickly before the end of the year. Let's leave it there.
All right, moving to the Daily Sun newspaper, 2019, Oyegun tackles article. We've talked about PDP issues. One other interesting story headline here says, Switzerland to return $321 million Abacha loot as federal government.
We're supposed to send a thank you letter to them.
Okay, I guess that just says it all.
Exactly.
All right, the Vanguard reports Oando reps probe Adeosun's suspension of SEC boss. Of course, Adeosun, the finance minister, suspended the Securities and Exchange Commission boss, Munir Guazo, over issues surrounding Oando.
I think it's a very interesting subject to look very critically into, because you're suspending him because of some severance package which he allegedly inflated or what have you. But he's made very, very damning allegations about Oando and the irregularities and what have you. So
and the minister's disposition to it.
Exactly. So I expect that issue is being investigated properly.
Okay, final one. Atiku to Saraki, Amechi, Goje, others return to PDP and rebuild Nigeria. Okay.
Well, I'll be surprised if you're in the
they take him
PDP
up
by
on that?
2018.
Exactly.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. is there if you're interested.
Yeah, you can go. And certainly the last one of them says why I created the Ministry of Happiness. That's from Imo State.
They need happiness in Imo.
And she's been giving it back to people who have been criticizing that ministry.
She has been tweeting, and a lot of people saw
you need to understand why that ministry has to be set up. The salaries are not being paid. They're erecting statues with state funds. I mean,
expensive statues.
Expensive statues.
He said they're not cheap.
So the people of Imo are sad. So you need a Ministry of Happiness to console the people. I do think so. It's very important.
Adio, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Right.